Uh, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure and privilege for me on behalf of Tata Steel and the Tubes SBU of Tata Steel to be part of this unique event, India Under Construction. When we first heard the topic, India Under Construction, believe me, we were hooked. And when we heard design and capital, it was line and sinker. Yeah. So for a product like steel, which in India is more related to production and being very straight in terms of product improvements, the brand that I represent, Tata Structura, is a little different in terms of the importance of design, which is very critical in its promotion and usage in the country. Just to give a brief background about the product, which is steel hollow sections. This product has been produced in the country for almost 25-30 years, and Tata Steel was probably one of the first few manufacturers of the product. But then we could hardly sell the product. For almost 10 years of the product being launched, it was languishing, and there's hardly any buyers or takers for the product. And that's when we figured out that the product was not selling because people didn't know how to use it. And for the first thing that you need to use is to know how to design the product, and then the challenge of getting it fabricated, and then maintaining the product. So almost 7 to 8 years back, we launched the brand Tata Structura. Before that, didn't have a brand. It was just a product which was being sold on the Tata Steel name. But when we launched the brand, we realized that all these challenges were there. And when we look at the topic of India under construction and design as social capital, we realized that it's a long journey, and this journey is still going on. And in the last 7 years that we have been there, we have had many successes and a few setbacks, but the challenge continues. We have been quite associated with the organizers, and they have helped us in the past in terms of creating awareness of the product through a contest which was called the Notion of the Nation, sorry. And the idea was to kind of get people to use the product and in the designs, and over more than 100 designs were shortlisted, and the competition was held, and the winning design was then recreated and established in Bombay at a place called Oval Maidan, which is just across the Churchgate station. So if you happen to go to Mumbai, next to Churchgate station, you will see the structure. And we are quite proud of it, and we would like to build more such structures of design in the country. That was the initial phase of the product, and now as we move forward, we realize the big challenge is not to just design the product, but how to get people to use the product. You look at any kind of product in terms of the first thing the person comes to know about the product is when he starts learning. So if it's an architect or an engineer, there are things that he picks up from colleges. What about the guys who fabricate? In India, it is still a very I would say unorganized segment, and we are seeing so much of challenges there, especially as we want to expand the usage of steel beyond urban markets and as we move to the rural markets. So what we've been doing is we realize that the responsibility of organizations like Tata's is not just to make product, but also see how we can kind of enable usage, how we could help the architects and the consulting engineers community who can kind of visualize these designs and their ideas, and to get it executed. We need to start investing in terms of building some capabilities to do some downstream value addition. So very recently, we executed a project for the Arriva Solar, which is a French multinational, and they have set up a solar plant in Rajasthan, wherein normally as an organization, as a company, we normally supply just the product, but here we gave a value-added component. It took us almost 6 months to develop the facility to supply this, but we realized that if we want to kind of get more and more people to use steel hollow sections, this is the way forward. As I conclude, there are a few things which I thought it's important and which is very much linked to what we would be hearing from the speakers over the day. The first is about the potential in India. I think it's huge, but the challenges are different. I would say the challenge in urban markets is to, the market is only going to grow vertical. It's in terms of horizontal growth. I think there are limitations. You are seeing in most cities, each time you come back, you see the buildings are going bigger and bigger. There are challenges in terms of the kind of time that you need to take and how to kind of take care of the environment in which you're operating. But when you look at the rural markets, it's a land of diversity. What is something which would work probably in the northern part of the country might not work in the eastern part, and so in the west or in the south. Each place and within each markets, there are a lot of diversity which is there. So how that diversity is going to be addressed is something which is going to be a big challenge. The second is, while I would say that the understanding of design is picking up, and people, especially even at the fabrication level, are having a good understanding of design, the challenge is coming in terms of fabrication. And I think that's a responsibility which, as a design, the community, and as suppliers of products, we need to see how it can be easily fabricated so that these ideas are quickly adopted. And the third part is about conservation. I don't think at this point of time, even as an organization like us, we are taking any major steps there. We are still very early in that phase. And as we put up structures, we need to realize there's an importance of conserving them, and that mindset and that discipline needs to be incorporated. And last and not the least, I think the challenge is to get people to adopt these as quickly as possible, as early as possible in their career. Because as people progress, getting especially the unorganized segments, who are the ones who are actually bringing these ideas into practice, it's a huge challenge. I would just like to share that, as a product, we have been more focused on what we call the infrastructure segment, the project segments, and we are taking some early stages of entry into the retail segment. And you would be surprised to know that the adoption of this product has been very successful in the retail segment. However, the kind of practices that they employ is very rudimentary, very, we will be shocked to see how the product is being used. And to that extent, and I would say that the potential there is huge, is to get them to kind of quickly adopt these technologies. So whatever practices, whatever technologies that we kind of discuss and deliberate on, it's important that it reaches out to the people who would be finally executing it. Because if they do a bad job of it, then it's not going to take off. And I think that's going to be some of these challenges that we are going to be facing as we go along. So finally, I would like to thank the organizers and all the participants who have taken time, especially with the festival season around, to be here. And I'm looking forward to hearing from all the speakers, and hopefully being the inaugural session, we would see more sessions and very innovative topics in the years to come. Thank you.